So I will ask a simple question to you today. You know, what is nutrition to you? Because even when you go to universities and work with real nutritionists, you know, in endocrinology clinics and just normal nutritionists that have certifications, truly they have no idea what nutrition is. They don't know anything about metabolic typing. They have no idea the vitamins and minerals that are in our food. They have no idea. They're teaching you based off of a food pyramid that is completely upside down and backwards, that actually causes human beings to be severely sick so that you're on pharmaceutical drugs. That's why they tell you to eat grains and seed oils. Almost every Caucasian, 90% of Caucasians cannot break down gluten. They're all gluten intolerant because we are literally made to eat animals. But the closer to the equator you go, like we talked, if you're from Belize, if you're African, the more plants you can eat. They've ate plants for thousands of years. And that's what we're going to talk about. It's not everyone should be eating plants daily. All right, so I asked a simple question. What is nutrition to you? This is why we're in a class, though, so just be completely honest.
Just what you put in your mouth, the benefits and that you receive from the foods that you consume.
You got it. So imagine this, like, why are you hungry? It's because your body is not searching for calories, it's searching for vitamins and minerals. So why are people eating all the time in our country, especially if you eat fast food? Oh my God, you used to eat 1,500 calories, a burger and fries. Why are you hungry 2 hours later?
There's nothing in it.
You got it. There's no nutrition in the food that you're eating. But if you wake up and you eat 4 fresh farm-raised eggs every day, a cup of blueberries, raw yogurt, for lunch you have fish, some apples, for dinner you have a huge steak and a sweet potato, all you need is 3 meals a day. If you want a snack, eat some nuts, but most of the time you don't need a snack because your vitamin and mineral storages are filled. But bodybuilders eating chicken and rice, doctors telling you to eat wheat bread, peanut butter sandwiches that cause systemic inflammation throughout your entire body. This is why people are hungry all the time. That is the problem with our country, because everything that we're teaching in the universities on nutrition, everything that's being taught in the medical programs that are funded by the same people teaching this garbage is why that Americans are sick. This is why people are on so many pharmaceutical drugs and why that our country is the most obese country in the world, is because everything that we're teaching is how to make people sick. It's not how to make them healthy. And that's what quantum is about. It is about making people healthy. So all this does is relate back to life force energy. So when we talk about real food gives you what? Not just vitamins and minerals, it's living. That's why you eat a fresh apple from the tree. You kill an animal in the wild and you eat it that day. It provides you with life force energy, which is love. It is a living thing, so life gives life, and that's what quantum is. So all this is mixed with the quantum realm, quantum physics, sacred geometry. All this too is ingrained into our earth, which Mother Earth is what keeps us living. It's what gives us life, is the planet. So without plants feeding the animals, animals feeding us, that's what they're here for. Animals aren't just here to feed us, but that is a huge reason why that they are here, is to provide us with nutrition, especially organs, and we'll get into vitamins and minerals and what foods truly are made and designed for humans to eat that give us the most nutrition. And we'll talk about, for instance, Eskimos, a Hawaiian, people from Belize, Northwestern Europeans, which most of us, that's where we're coming from, or out in the east, closer to the desert. And the thing is, and we'll talk about maybe like why you could have more grains in your body, maybe more than I can, because my blood is very much Northwestern European. I'm almost 100% Irish and British. So I am more of a protein type when it comes to metabolic typing. But say that you are from Belize. I bring that up a lot. It's just a place close to the equator. Or Cuban. Well, of course you need more plants and fish in your body. For thousands of years, you all have ate mainly fruit and fish. That is what you are. You're like almost like a seafaring type of humanoid. That would be the difference in you and I. So as health professionals, doctors, and nutritionists, if you don't know anything about metabolic typing, you need your license revoked. I'll just be honest. Because you are not teaching people about health. You have no idea what nutrition actually is. Nutrition isn't counting fucking calories. Nutrition has to do with the vitamins and minerals that are in the food that you are putting in your human vessel. It has nothing to do with red meat causing heart disease. Paul Chek said this once and it always stuck with me. He literally made a joke in a video about lions. He's like, did you see this in the New York Times about how lions are getting heart disease from eating red meat? And he was in a room full of doctors, nutritionists, like world-renowned people that he was teaching a seminar to, and they all were like, kind of believed it. But you see, lions weren't getting heart disease from eating red meat because they're designed to eat red meat. Just like a giraffe would get super sick from eating red meat because they're created to eat plants. They are vegetarians by nature, or vegans you could say. They're omnivores. But the giraffe would probably eat an egg if it had to, but it would never eat meat. It would starve to death before it would do that because it's not designed to. You see my canine teeth? I'm designed to chew up meat, to gnaw on bones. We are designed as humans to eat meat. Even the seafaring people to eat fish, things of that nature. If animals, and this goes back to our last class on organic and regenerative farming, if animals are raised right, cattle are raised in organic pastures and fed mainly grass if they hold the genetics to do so. There is as much omega-3s in that as there is salmon, but if you raise an animal on nothing but grain and corn in sprayed fields with herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, and shoot it full of trim, then of course that's going to cause heart disease because it's going to fill you full of omega-6, which causes inflammation in the body, which causes heart disease, diabetes, and things of that nature. Which will lead me into, again, all right, life force energy. Once you pasteurize something or irradiate it, it is dead. That means no vitamins, no minerals will be left in it. That's why all the pasteurized milk, if you look in the corner, it says vitamin D added. Because once you pasteurize it, you're drinking sugar water. So that is why I'm very against pasteurized dairy. Do I consume it occasionally? Well, of course. But the milk that I sell in my shop, the milk that I drink, the yogurt I eat, is raw. The yogurt is flash pasteurized just to ensure there's not tons of bacterial growth. But at the same time, we're looking for good bacteria in the food that we're eating and fermented foods for our gut microbiome. The gut microbiome is like a fish tank. You know how, those of you that have had fishes, you can never actually wash the rocks. And if you do, it ruins the biome of the fish tank because that's where all the good bacteria is. Well, your gut's the same way. So if you're eating tons of pasteurized things, nothing fermented, you're taking things like antibiotics from the doctor because you have poor immunity, then you will be ruining your gut microbiome, which causes poor immunity. It causes you to have, it can cause autoimmune diseases, very poor digestion, things of that nature. But anything that is pasteurized is dead. So remember that, it contains no life force energy. So there is no love, there's nothing living, and there sure as hell isn't any sacred geometry left in the food that you're eating or light per se. Light is in all food, okay? Because without the sun, there is nothing here. Because the plants don't grow, the animals don't eat, and humans die. So the sun is beautiful. That's why I believe in biblical text that when it says follow the Father, which is a symbolism of God, the one infinite creator, and the Son, that it was actually talking about the sun. Because the sun is what helps grow food, gives life to our planet, It is how we learn to farm, and it is how we tell time. I can find any direction if I know how to follow the sun on the planet. Any place that you're in, if you have a compass, which naturally everyone knows the sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. So if you woke up, had nothing, you didn't have a phone, you didn't have a clock, you knew nothing about time or what day that it was. If you woke up and you watched the sunrise, you would know that was the east. And if you followed it, it would come around the south and go to the west. It never points towards the north. And there's a reason for that. But we won't get into it today. But the east and the west is very important. The winds come from the west and the south. Very rarely will they ever come from the north. And if they do, it's coming from Louisville, and it has to do with the North Pole. But you see what I'm saying? The sun has everything to do with life, and that's why many of ancient religions, the Egyptians and the pagans, worshiped the sun god Ra, because they realized, even the Native Americans, that without the sun, nothing would be living. So they studied and worshiped many different gods, because there are many gods governing our planet that are giving us life and helping us. First of all, if you're not worshiping Mother Earth and you're destroying it and you're not helping it, well, then you're not doing much at all. So that leads me back into something that has stuck with me since I heard it, since I was a young man. And this will be a little bit controversial. And this is just a really good example to open the minds of the human race. And I don't mean to be controversial or offend anybody with their religious beliefs, because I'm a very religious man, actually, and I believe in a higher power and things of that nature. But this is an example. And when Paul Chick said this years ago, it really opened my eyes to realizing how confused the world is, not just in nutrition, but in their beliefs. But that's why humans are destroying the planet and themselves. It's because everyone is so dang confused. And so this is why. So this is an example. Paul Chek said this. So Paul Chek owns the Chek Institution. He has 3,000 plus Chek practitioners all over the world, okay? So he used this as an example to Jesus, all right? Jesus was an amazing prophet that walked the earth along with many others. And he really was able to talk about oneness and love while he was here on the planet, okay? Remember that, oneness and love, life force energy, okay? So imagine this. What if Paul Chek died, came back in 100 or 1,000 years, and there was 122 different Chek practitioners, like different variations of the teachings of Paul Chek? That would mean his students were really confused, right? So imagine you guys, I'm teaching you all this same stuff. Like, imagine there's 100 of you in my class, and I die, and I come back in 100 years, but all of you are teaching completely different things than what I taught. That would be weird, right? That means that certain individuals that were in my class took my teachings and molded them into their own. You see what I'm saying? And the reason I brought up 122, did you know that there is 122 different Christian religions? 122. So all that tells me is that people are really damn confused. Because if a man was teaching something, then how is there 122 different teachings of it? That means it's wrong. Somebody's wrong. Now, I believe that he was teaching oneness, love, that we all need to work together, that we need to reunite with the Christ energy that's coming into us. Christ, the Father, God, the one infinite creator, which God is neither male nor female. He is everything and everywhere. He's 0 point energy, as Paul Chek would say. So that's what God is. Jesus was a prophet that came to the earth to teach all of these things and the frequency that will come into us in the time of Aquarius that we're in, with our planets aligning, in the sun having huge solar flares like it is right now, when the planet is confused and we're all coming together as one, but not everyone will come together. And okay, you're probably thinking, Darcy, this is a nutrition class. Why are you teaching this today? But it's because in order for you to get close to your spirit and God, you have to be So if your nutrition is poor, then your mind's poor. And if your mind's poor, then you're not able to teach, you're not able to be spiritual or get closer to your soul and nature. Because to even know what God is, you have to understand nature and your soul. And then you know there's no denying that there is a God. Because this all works together as one. The moon, the sun, life force energy. So again, now we go back to ask the question, what actually is nutrition? It is the beginning of my pyramid because it is the most important thing that is not taught in hardly any churches, any religions outside of America. Now, if you go study Hinduism, these people are big on it. You know, they're huge on it. You know, if you go to India. Now, I don't agree with everyone being vegetarian or vegan. You know, they actually have some of the highest cases of irritable bowel syndrome in the world. But all that to say, fasting and their nutrition is most important. So a lot of places of which we live, you go to church and when you get done, you eat Kentucky Fried Chicken and, you know, some coleslaw and mashed potatoes, and you gorge yourself with food that is unhealthy, that actually brings you farther away from soul and spirit. So my question to these sanctuaries is, what the hell are you doing? Why are you feeding people garbage when your body is the temple? Am I not right? That is the most beautiful teaching in every religion in the world, is the body is the temple. Now, no matter what prophet or God that different religions believe in all around the world, every one of them teach about fasting, and the body is a temple. So fasting is one of the greatest ways to reset the body, to let your body cleanse itself of toxins, then figure out your metabolic type. Now, through years of professional experience, I've been doing this for 10 years, I can look at you, I can ask you where you're from and what your blood type is, and I can tell you spot on what you're supposed to eat. Now, every now and then, if say you're Filipino and Native American, you're mainly going to live on fruit and meat, which most humans do great with. But the Filipinos eat a lot of fish, a lot of fruit. Native Americans mainly ate meat, and they ate with the seasons. And that's what I teach, is to eat with the seasons. So, an example, an Eskimo would mainly be eating a high protein fat diet. They are never eating fruits and vegetables unless they're brought to them. They pickle things if they can. You may see them be able to scavenge for blueberries at some point in the year and different things of that nature. You put them on a plant-based diet and they will become severely ill. They will have the poorest bowel movements you would ever see. They would have diarrhea every day. Now, a Hawaiian, they're meant to eat a plant-based diet. Aboriginals, they are meant to eat a plant-based diet. They eat mainly fish and fresh fruit and some vegetables. A lot of tubers, sweet potato, things of that nature. You take them and put them on a Eskimo's diet, they're going to become severely ill and have diarrhea every day. Okay? So like myself, as an example, I grew up eating General Mills cereal in the morning, the 2% pasteurized milk, and a lot of garbage. Okay? I have an autoimmune disease from it that I am fixing and have been fixing over the years. It made me have horrible bowel movements. I lacked in vitamins and minerals. My brain did not function correctly. I ended up getting type 1 diabetes at the age of 11. I started eating right for me, metabolic typing. I started eating a higher protein fat diet, tons of fat. I mean, there was 2 years where literally I ate 150 grams of fat a day, most of which was saturated. My brain ignited. It changed my life. I feel like I went from having a high school education to a PhD in a month. My testosterone increased very dramatically. My well-being, how that I acted, my cognition, I opened a business, everything changed. And you know what I'm doing and what I'm teaching is everything that the universities are teaching I'm not doing. And that's what's healing people. is then eating red meat, eggs, and butter, and not eating wheat bread. And everyone is getting better, they're getting smarter, and their diseases are going away. And so my question to the universities is, where the hell are you getting your research? Because it's false. It's not right. Because that is not how you make people better. A vegan diet makes people sick, it shrinks their brains, and shrinks their testicles. And we do not want to be eating nothing but plants, because most plants are highly toxic and contain chemicals that want to kill you because it's a defense mechanism. All right, now we'll get into more of the class subjects as well.